Hey, y'all. On today's podcast, we celebrate Ben's incredible success of having his first six-figure year.
Welcome to the Flip Lifestyle Podcast, where life always comes before work. We're your hosts, Shane and Jocelyn Sams. We're a real family that figured out how to make our entire living online. And now, we help other families do the same. Are you ready to flip your life? All right, let's get started.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast. Great to be back with you again this week. We are super excited. It is January, and we are rocking the new year with a number of amazing success stories. And we have got an awesome OG member of the Flip Your Life community coming on the show today. In fact, this person that we're interviewing today was a member of our e-course. This guy dates back before the community even existed. Welcome to the show, Ben Landers. Ben, welcome, man.
What's up, guys? So pumped to be here. The universes have aligned to allow us to finally talk to each other. It's been awesome.
Right? Like literally, we've been working with you since what was it,
2014.
2014, yeah.
And we've been trying to get you on the podcast forever, and it just never works out because we've all got lives, we've all got kids, and we were just talking today. We were getting ready to do this about 10 minutes ago. Jocelyn gets here to our office. She opens the door, and our dogs bolt. And so I'm running around the neighborhood in house shoes and sweatpants looking for my dog, looking down at my watch going, oh no, we got to talk to Ben. We've already canceled on him like 3 times. This is ridiculous. So luckily we found our dog. Our kids fought a little bit, but now they're watching Netflix, and we can actually talk to you, man.
Yes, and thank you for being so patient and understanding when we've had to cancel like multiple times. The other day,
no worries.
We were supposed to talk like the 23rd of December, which is the day before Christmas Eve, and we had people in our house, and like our kids were running around, and it was just wild. And so we were like, Ben, I'm so sorry, but we cannot talk today. So anyway, we've rescheduled a million times, but we are very, very happy to have you here. And one of the things that I love about our original people, we still have a lot of them around.
I know.
And that makes me really happy that, they found enough value in what we do to stick around and, still be a part of our audience 5 years later.
You got an amazing success story. I cannot wait to share this to everybody. But tell us a little, take us back in time, when you first found us, because back then we didn't have a lot of listeners. We weren't,
right.
We didn't have a lot of people in the community. We didn't even have a community at that time. And you actually bought the first thing we ever sold, which was basically creating an ebook.
It was a beta of like maybe 20 or 25 people. There weren't many people in it.
So what were you doing? Like what happened? Like what in the world made you take that leap of faith? Like give us a little background about, where you were in your life before that, like what you do for a living and stuff like that. And,
so I've been graduated college in I think 2007, and I've been teaching ever since then. So it was my 13th year teaching. That was in 2014. So that was, I guess, I've been teaching for 7 years. And then ever since I was in high school, I've pretty much been side hustling on the side, doing photography, video stuff. I love making YouTube videos. I love shooting pictures. And I was into the idea of finding something to side hustle on. I was listening to Pat Flynn's podcast. That's how I found you guys. I was interested in the idea of not having to actually go schedule a photo shoot every time I wanted to make $500, not having to work on the weekend shooting a wedding, but building something that would kind of pay for itself, building an asset. And then when I heard you guys on Pat Flynn's podcast, I was like, oh, this is I'm teaching, they're making money as teachers. It's it goes together so well. And it would make my job better too, because I can make all the things that I want that I don't have time to make because as a teacher, you're so overwhelmed. And so it was a little bit of scratching my own itch. And I think, I don't remember how long I was on y'all's email list. I think you might have actually pitched it on Pat's podcast. Is that right?
Yes.
I think so.
Yes, we did.
But here's what's funny. We were going on Pat's podcast, right? And we knew that this was going to be a pretty good opportunity because, he has such a big audience. And we had no idea, nothing, what we were going to do. And I said, hey, wait a minute. Let's put together a course. And we won't even have it created by the time we're done. We'll just have an outline in front of us, and we'll say, this is what we're going to do. So go jump on the email list, and we'll tell you more about it. And we weren't even ready for it yet.
Yeah. Well, I think because I remember the way I felt about memberships at that time was nah, I don't want to have an ongoing expense. I'm not down for that. But then you guys were like, hey, you have lifetime access to this e-course that's going to teach you how to build a digital product and sell it online. And I was like, all right, I'm in. And I think originally it was $397, I want to say.
So I think it was $397, but we discounted it a little bit for anybody that would please take our offer because we didn't know if anyone would buy it.
I seriously don't even know, but we actually sold out. We only opened so many spots, and we did sell them all.
Yeah,
I think our email list was only a couple. Yeah, it was only a couple hundred people at the time too.
Yeah, it was like that. You would send the email. I was like 15 spots left, and I was like, oh, should I do it? Should I do it? It was like 10 spots left. I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta get in.
And see, guys, we do practice what we preach. Like we started out, we had no idea. Like we had absolutely nothing made, and just sold the spots and hoped somebody bought them.
What we did know was this: everything we had sold was an ebook PDF, right? And we had made so much money on lesson plans and playbooks at the time. We were like, well, if you just do this, you can make money online, right? Yeah. And we're like, we can show people how to do this. We showed somebody else that. We showed our friend Lindsay how to do it. We can show somebody else how to do it. So
honestly, I use the same exact steps from that original e-course every time I create a PDF. It's like I make a title page in Canva. I put the copyright page in. I do table of contents. At the end, I do like a membership ad. It's like
it's amazing.
It's the exact same formula for everything.
And that it's funny because that original course, minus a couple things that have been a little outdated, is actually still in the Flip Your Life Blueprint. It's actually still in the community. And it's funny because that one course was all we had when we started. And it was just one little segment of the membership site. And then now it's like, oh, there's 50 other things that have been built around it. We just started, every month we would just add something new. In 2015, I added like 20 more courses. And it's just exploded into this library of online business stuff.
Yeah, I always know if there's any question I have, there's going to be an answer inside there somewhere. I just have to find it.
All right. Where were you when you made the decision? I'm going to make this investment. I'm going to bet on myself. I'm going to take a chance on these two country people from Kentucky. Right? like where were you? What were you doing? Like when you decided to do that? Was it like late at night one night?
Well, I think that when you guys were opening it for enrollment, I think it was over the summer because I remember being at the beach with my family and I had been talking to my wife about it and I was like, $400. That's like such a huge investment for, something that I didn't know if it was going to pan out or not. And my brother and sister-in-law, I was like, guys, I'm like thinking about buying this course. It's $400. And it's going to like show me how to make stuff and sell it online. And I'm thinking about doing like resources for PE teachers. I was like, what do you think? And they were like, dude, that's like perfect for you. Like you got to do that. And I was like, all right, done. And that's when I made the original decision to sign up. And then you guys came out with another like follow-up course after that. That was how to build a website. And I also jumped in with that one as well and pretty much followed the exact template. After the first e-course, like I got the first email, I didn't even have to think about it. I was like, I'm in.
Oh, that's awesome.
I followed y'all's exact template and like even used the exact same theme and everything for my website for the first like 3 years that I had it up online.
All right. So what happened with your first thing you created? Like, so you start your website, you start blogging, I guess, you start trying to build an audience, you start, selling your first thing. Like what happened when you first tried to sell it?
I used that as my opt-in. So I built that. I think it was a 15 free like station activity signs. So people could just like print them, put them up in their gym, and then like have different station activities for kids to do. And it would have directions and little illustrations.
You're a PE teacher,
right? And so I used that for my opt-in for like 3 years. So once I took the website building course, I just had that on the front page, like, hey, sign up for free here, and I'll send you these 15 printable station signs.
Love it. And then how did you monetize that? So we launched the community after that. We grandfathered all of our beta people in because we kind of were like, look, if you take a chance on us, we'll keep you around to help you forever.
Yep.
Right? And we still have a lot of those people who still participate in our community.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And we actually had a bunch of them come to our live events and stuff like that. Like they came to.
Yeah, we've met a lot of you guys in person, which is amazing. And yeah, I mean, it's just really cool.
But like when did you monetize? How long into the process? And then
so I think the first thing I actually sold on the site was an e-course, and it went along with, so that opt-in was 15 station signs, and then I had a little ad at the end that was like, here, take this e-course, and it's like 30 printable station signs and a video of me explaining how to do each one and the setup of each one.
That's how you spice it up right there.
Yeah. So then I think that was $27.
And what was your first sale? Do you still remember it?
I was on the treadmill at the gym, and it like popped in on my phone. I was like, Yes.
No way.
I'm like jogging a 5K and somebody just gave me $27. This is awesome.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. I
that
immediately
was you did way better than
and
us.
texted my wife. I was like, you're not going to believe what just happened.
You did way better than us because we did 11 cents on our first thing. So it was
nice.
that was our first money. So you crushed us out the gate. What did your wife say?
She was like, oh my goodness. So she was like super pumped. Obviously I had been working on it for so long, like I got up at like 5 a.m. to get to school before anybody was there to like shoot the videos for the thing and set up all the equipment and everything.
So how long had you been trying before that first sale? Like many months or whatever?
I think that was after I had the website up. So I made the opt-in, and then like November 2014 was when I took that like web building course from you guys and built and had the website up. And then I'm pretty sure that first sale was in January of that next year. So it was like 3 months.
That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. So then did it just build from there throughout the year?
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure I only sold like 4 of those total. And so I just eventually was like, this isn't working. Like people don't like it. And then I was during that whole time just blogging. And so I would send out a blog a week. And then one of the blogs was a overview of gymnastics, like a gymnastics unit. And so one of the things you guys talked about in the web course was how to do Google keywords. And so I was like trying to hit the Google keyword for if somebody would search elementary gymnastics unit plan. And so I literally spent like 40 hours on this epic blog post, had all these videos. And then at the bottom, it was like, I pretty much laid out the whole unit for you, but if you want to buy the printables and the posters and everything to go along with it, it's $25. And that sold like hotcakes.
Love it.
Yeah.
And
so then eventually I transferred. I kind of eventually after that sold so well, I kind of changed my strategy from e-courses to unit plans, station signs, and printable stuff.
It's funny though, because everyone thinks it's a miracle. Like you just, I have an idea and I go do it. Right. Well, your first initial ideas were okay. And then you finally got it out there and made a few sales. But then you were like, okay, this first idea worked, but it didn't work at scale. It didn't work.
And so you didn't say, oh, well, online business isn't for me. I only sold 4 things. Oh, well, better move on to something else.
Yeah. You just kept like going out there and creating content, blog post after blog post. And then you did the smartest thing anyone can ever do. Watch what's working. And if you see something work, go all in right there as fast as possible. Right. If you find a nail, hammer the nail. And that thing was what started building you like more income and started saying, hey, this is actually possible. So how much did you make on the gymnastics stuff?
I have to go back and look at it now, but I can, you can like go back, and it's in so many different places too. Like it's on Teachers Pay Teachers now and on my site, so people can buy it. But it's that one resource has definitely made me probably $15,000 to $20,000.
That's unbelievable. And what year was that when that started taking off? Was that like 2015? That was in
2015. Yeah, 2015. When I posted that.
Then you guys kind of start looking at each other like, oh,
there's real money here. Like that's going to pay for vacations and Christmas presents.
Yes.
What's going on? Right now, does your wife work?
At the time she was. She came home, I'm pretty sure in 2016, like after that school year, so the summer of 2016.
Yeah, and I seem to remember, like from way back when, that was one of your goals, right?
Yeah. So kind of the whole thing was we had, at the time when I joined Flip Life, we had 1 kid. We were trying to have another kid. And it was like, my wife was a teacher, and we were about to, with our second kid, with the daycare costs, it was basically like a wash for her salary.
Right.
So she's like, look, like we need to like make something happen here. She didn't love her job teaching. I do love my job teaching. And I've been at the same school for 14 years. Like I built this really, really awesome program that I'm really proud of. And I was like, look, what if I go all in with this PE thing for 2 years and try to see if I can make some money online? If it doesn't work, I had my admin degree, so I kind of had that in my pocket to potentially go into like school leadership, which I was really hoping I didn't have to do. So I wanted to be a leader in the field of phys ed was the whole idea, and try to make some extra money off of that and try to help the world of PE. Like there's like such a like horrible stereotype around PE teachers, like they just like roll the ball out, just the coach that doesn't care about teaching. All they care about is coaching. And I really wanted to try to be a positive change to help people their new teachers, especially that might not have good training, like have a resource where they could just right out of the gate be an amazing teacher.
And
That's
I
awesome.
love that. I love that you are just unashamedly like, I love my job. I love what I do. And I love being a leader in this field. And that's totally okay. You know, like there are people out there that think that the only reason that we do online business is to help people quit their jobs. That's not necessarily true. We just want people to change their life, and whatever that looks like for you, like that's cool.
Yeah, when we say flipped lifestyle, the reason we call it that is because, you know, everybody in the world thinks that you have to get on a railroad track and you got to stay on that railroad track forever, right? But we kind of look at it like upside down. We're like, no, you can go any direction you want. You can build any life you want. If you want to go to work and have a side hustle, one of my good friends that I talk to almost every week, he loves his job. He's like in engineering at a tech company, right? But then he's got a side hustle, right, at night. And he's like, I love the side hustle too. And that's kind of like what you're doing. You're like, you are still working in your job, but you've also built this amazing business that allowed your wife to quit her job, which is where we're going with this. So like, tell me what happened in 2016 that like, okay, so you made quite a few $1,000s. Things are selling. You're selling these little $25 courses and books, and things are going.
And by this time, we've evolved to a membership model. So I assume that you're still following along with us.
So in 2016, you guys I think that's when y'all did the big membership push, and I was like, should I do it? And you guys were like, yes, you should do it.
Right.
And
big shocker
that was
there.
a forum conversation, I'm sure.
Also, in 2016, I got voted Teacher of the Year at my school.
Wow.
So like, I was like, one of the big bonuses of, spending so much time on the cool thing that I loved about this side hustle versus all the other side hustles I've done is it just goes so well with what I'm already doing.
It complements it. Right?
It also benefits your students, like the work that you're doing on your website, like it helps your students too.
Yeah, definitely. And anyway, so that was a cool thing is as I spent so much extra time developing resources and thinking about phys ed, I became such a much better teacher as well. Awesome. So I started like presenting at conferences, getting more confident and sharing ideas and stuff like that. In May was when I launched the beta membership. So just like you guys did, I didn't have any content created other than the gymnastics thing and the e-course that I had already created, but I took it down. It was like it's still an e-course available. And people still think it's helpful. It's just like not something that people are willing to buy up front. But once they have it, then it is really helpful. So in May, I think I had an email list of 1,000 and launched it for $97. And I was like, hey, by the time the summer's over, I'm going to have these 3 unit plans available. I'm going to have these e-courses available. I'm going to have these trainings available. You get this price forever. Who wants to jump in? And that was in May. We were at the beach again, and 38 people signed up for that.
38 people paid $100?
Yeah. So I had like three grand in my bank account, and I was like, the whole time we were at the beach, my phone was like dinging, and my parents were like, did you just get another sale? I was like, yes.
Oh my God. That is
took everybody out to eat at the end of the week. I was like, this is the best week.
It's like $3,800 for a teacher is a lot of money, people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a month of pay.
I know, right? And like, I love how you were at the beach when you bought the first course. And then you were at the beach when you launched this, and just cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Dude,
like
even more than the money, like the feeling that you get that people believe in you, I think was what I enjoyed the most about it. Like having 38 people raise their hand and be like, yo, I think what you're going to do is worth $100 a year and I'm in, like, sign me up. That was like the best feeling.
That's amazing. For sure. It reminds me of, you're talking about going to the beach and all that stuff. I can remember a time when we first started and we were driving, I believe it was to Myrtle Beach, and Shane was sitting in the car and he's like, I'm going to see if I can make enough money to cover the cost of the trip. I'm like, before
we get to Myrtle Beach. So I was literally, we driving south, we go through Knoxville to Asheville and then down to Myrtle Beach. Right. And Jocelyn drove first. We always flip back and forth. And I was seriously writing emails and scheduling them from Knoxville to Asheville. So I had like 2 hours to sit there and type. And we paid for the whole trip.
That's
just
awesome,
with those emails on the way down. It was crazy. So like,
the freedom to do that's awesome. Like anytime you guys want, if you need an extra $5,000, you can spend like a day creating a resource and you can sell it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You can go on an extra trip. Like that's an awesome choice to be able to make.
Well, Joss and I still we always look at things like that. We always say, we don't say, I can't afford it. We say, how can we afford it? Right. And the answer is sales. Sales fixes everything. That's just how it works.
Yep.
And just the other day, I was wanting to go to a conference and, it's going to cost me, probably $4,000 or $5,000, maybe, I don't know, to go. And I was like, hey, Jocelyn, why don't I just do I'll just get there a day early and do a little mastermind. So I'm just working on some emails right now and I'm going to send it out and try to do a little in-person mastermind and cover the trip. Why not go for free if you can, right? And you get to help people while you're there. I get to talk to people. I get to meet community members. I get to work with them on their business. They're going to go out and make their money back on that. And the ripple just goes on forever.
Yeah, it's a win-win.
For all of our listeners out there, when you hear where this is going, your mind's going to explode. So if you're in your car right now, you might need to pull over here in a second. So $3,800. You got $3,800. Mind is blown that, oh my gosh, I just made almost $4,000, right?
Yeah.
And you've launched, now you have a membership with members. Okay. So did it go to a monthly deal? Did you just start saying, hey, I'm all in on this now. I'm going to promote this through 16, 17, 18 or whatever?
Yeah. I launched the full membership in August. So the beta people got signed up in May. And then I was building all the resources over the summer. In August, launched it for $150 a year to the public for anybody to sign up. Because the original beta was just to my email list. I didn't even post it anywhere online. And in August, launched it for $150. By December, I had 80 people, and I had an email list up to 3,000.
Wow.
And then in February of 2017, I hit 100 members. That was a big milestone that I wrote down.
Yes. Yeah. The 100 member mark is kind of where you're it's funny, no matter what anyone's price is at $100 or 100 people, it's always this reckoning of, man, this could be a substantial part of my income or maybe a full-time income.
100 people are paying attention to what I'm doing and find enough value to continue paying me. That's a pretty amazing thing.
That's a community. There's villages with less than 100 people.
It's a tribe. Right? You got yourself a tribe. Yeah. Then some other thing, so I had the income from the membership. Also launched an e-course on this professional development platform for PE teachers, so they can basically get their recertification points, just as another way to kind of get exposure to myself, my brand. I had a bunch of free products in there as well, and also some extra income. But also that e-course itself was $120 on that platform, but people could buy my membership for $150 and get all the resources plus the e-course. So good. It basically made my membership more valuable, and also allowed me to expose myself to more people. And then you guys were dude, I think I posted in the forums about when I hit 100 members, and you guys were dude, you have to raise your prices.
Yes. And
that was in 2017. So the summer of that year, I raised it to $250, and I had 1 month. And I remember Shane, specifically, you were because I was posting in the forums hey, I'm just I don't know how to say this. I don't know. I don't feel good about it. And you were Ben, this is the words you say. And you copied it. You literally wrote the email for me.
We do this often.
Right? Yeah.
And I was I don't know, but I'm just going to, this is why I joined Flip Life. I'm just going to do what Shane says. And then I literally just put that text in my emails, the 3-day, scarcity, 48 hours, 24 hours, last chance. And, went from 140 members in 30 days to 350 members.
Whoa.
2017.
That's crazy.
Yeah, dude.
So you
it was
raised
nuts.
your prices and you added, and you got to 300 members. Basically.
It was nuts. Yeah, that was my first ever 5-figure month. I'm pretty sure I made over 10 grand that month.
Oh. Yeah, and isn't that just a crazy feeling?
Yeah, and when at the end of that month, I was I'm gonna always do whatever Shane says.
If I had a nickel for every time someone said that. What's funny though is I don't want to it is true. You need people that have been there. Joss and I have a very unfair advantage in online business because not only have we started our own businesses and not only have we repeated the process multiple times, but we literally get to see every day dozens and every week hundreds of different people trying different things, right? So it is easy. It seems miraculous, but really we're just no, he just needs to do this. The copy is important, but not the most important. It's just I got to give you something today that you can be okay, I'll do this, and then you did it. That's always my goal whenever I go into the forums. I'm find someone who is not doing the next thing and just give them the next thing so they'll do it. Right.
Yeah.
And when you do that, good things happen. And what's cool is, what year was that? Was that 18?
That was 2017.
2017. So look at this, guys. If you're listening at home, keeping score. Guy gets into our ebook course in 2014. And now in 2017, this huge overnight success thing happens, right? So everybody looks and your family's freaking out and
so
you're buying dinners.
People see that high point, and that's what they think. Oh, well, he just threw some stuff on the internet and
like, no,
made
I've been working every
$10,000.
night and every morning for 3 years to get to the tipping point, right?
Yep.
So then it's off to the races. What happened in 2018?
So 2008. So one big thing when I got that big pump of cash was I hired a friend to help me start managing the email content and stuff.
Love it.
So I basically trained him on ActiveCampaign, and I would just record the emails with my voice on my iPhone. I would email him the audio, and he would literally transcribe the emails and schedule them for me. So that was awesome.
Yep.
Also got to hire some people to start making custom illustrations for me off Upwork. So that was cool. And 2018, won some awards for best blog in the phys ed space and had some more publicity. People started interviewing me on podcasts and stuff, presenting at a lot of conferences.
Success breeds success.
Yeah.
Action breeds action. It's exponential growth. That's what happened to us. We just, all of a sudden, a couple people knew our story. Then we get on 2 or 3 huge podcasts. Then we get on 10 more huge podcasts. And all of a sudden our audience is big enough to support our own community. Right.
Yeah.
And it's the more you do, the more you get.
Yep. I also redesigned the site finally in 2018. So stopped using that original theme that I had stolen from you guys from that tutorial.
It's okay. I think we stopped using it in 2018 too.
Nice. So that was kind of that 2018, I feel was a year where I started to get a lot of the SOPs in place. I have a Google Doc with every single thing that I do on my business. And there's a video screencast tutorial and there's steps because I was starting to get my friend to help me. And so we really systematize everything and have we have a good long-term email sequence now that goes with the school year. And it's evergreen, so we can just repeat it and we don't have to waste so much of time on it.
Dude, I was just thinking last week. So last year I spent a lot of time on emails for Flipped Lifestyle, right? And it was more thematic than just, in the education space, kind of easy. Abraham Lincoln's always the 16th president and the Civil War always gets taught at a certain time of year, right? So I can just turn that on and off. But for Flipped Lifestyle, it's a little different. But it was cool because I'm actually, after we get done talking today, I'm about to schedule some emails for next week. And I was looking at it and I was like, oh, I have an email sequence from last New Year's. And because I worked on that all year but it's more thematic. I got to change some dates and some times and stuff, but it's cool to be able to go back and now you have a template. It gets easier every year that you do it. Right.
For sure. Yeah.
So 2018 is a good year. You're getting your feet under you. It's kind of like the holding pattern.
You're becoming a grown-up business.
That's right. You're growing up a little bit in the business world. Now, 2019 is guys, we've been talking for a while, but we're just trying to get you to 2019 because tell us what happened this year when it came to revenue. You hit a magic number in revenue. What was that?
So ever since we started, obviously everybody is thinking how awesome it would be to make 6 figures, because as a teacher, I've never made 6 figures in my entire life.
Or will you if you continue down the path?
No.
Right?
Yeah, so that was one of my big goals for 2019. And after our Black Friday sale this year, we hit that goal at the end of November. So it's big celebrations over at our house, hitting that 6-figure goal.
So you built a 6-figure business all because you launched a little ebook a few years ago. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that incredible?
Signed up for that $400 course, and the rest is history.
I think that the $400 investment definitely paid off since you made 6 figures this year, right?
Dude, I'll give you guys a plug. They didn't ask me to say this, but if you are the kind of person that is willing to put in the work and you want the roadmap to success, you just jump in Flip Life. That's all you got to do.
That's
Seriously.
awesome.
That makes me feel good, man. It really does. Because that,
everybody can't do it, but if you're willing to put in the work and you're willing to learn, all the roadmaps for everything you could ever need are in that membership.
I think it's everybody won't do it. You know what I'm saying?
Some people won't.
We tried to build when we thought about the Flip Lifestyle, podcast and the Flip Your Life community. we really were like, we looked at all the other courses that were out there, right? And then we looked at our own story and we're like, look, we were two people with full-time jobs. We had an 18-month-old and a 3-year-old. Okay. How did we make it? How did that possibly happen? Because, we had all the things going against us. We had no money to invest in courses, right? We were doing yard sales just to buy training. I remember wheeling stuff to down the driveway.
Yeah, we had this road. Big long driveway up a hill.
Yeah, and so I would load everything in trash cans and I would pull it down to the side every weekend and just set up a table to sell stuff. And then I would take that $100 or $200 that I made that week and we would go buy hosting. Then we'd do it again and I'd go and I would buy a course to teach me how to do email marketing, right?
Yeah, same thing, man. I shot a wedding. I had $1,500 from the wedding and I was like, this is my business money. Like I'm going to make this happen. $400 was a course. And then the next was like all the, like you're talking about the web hosting and all that stuff.
I had a buddy that he really wanted to get into online business and he just said, screw it. I'm getting a pizza route. He's 30 something years old and he goes out and starts delivering pizzas 2 nights a week just so he can afford hosting and some advertising on Facebook. Right. Yeah. But that's the difference, man.
You're willing to make it happen.
Yep. And then, 4 years later, you get your first. Now, your wife is home now, right? She quit her job.
Yeah, we just had our 3rd kid, man. And I cannot tell you how thankful I am to be able to have her at home with 3 kids.
Yeah.
And to be able to not worry about money.
And her stress is not probably, freaking out because you're both working all day and then trying to juggle everything at night. And it's going to make your marriage better. Your kids are going to have a better life experience, not just from the resources financially, but just the amount of time they're getting with their parents. Right.
For sure, man.
And you kept your job because you love your job, correct?
Yeah, I love my job. There's it's more complicated than that because my daughter who's in kindergarten right now goes to school with me. So there's a huge perk for me of getting to teach her and also getting to know every single teacher that she ever gets and when she talks about her friends, like I know exactly who she's talking about and who I want her to hang out with and who I don't want her to hang out with. So, and I just love my school, man. It's like teaching PE is a little bit like building a business when you're at the elementary because you have your own program, you see the entire school, and over the course of 14 years, I've really finally built something that I'm really proud of. And I've got all the fundraisers for the rock wall and all the cool equipment and all that kind of stuff that I like to teach. So I love teaching. I love going to school. It's also a good place for me to create content because I can't test out games and you have your own science lab for your products. Yeah. I mean, everything that I've ever put out, it's I tried this, I tested it, it works. Trust me.
And it's funny that you say that because that's actually one of the reasons that I wanted to sell the librarian site because I wasn't a librarian anymore. And I guess kind of in the back of my mind, I was thinking, does it really make sense for me to continue doing this because I'm not testing out these concepts anymore?
Yeah. Right. It's amazing. Well, listen, I want to tell you, I got a couple more things I want to talk to you about real quick, but, we just want to congratulate you, man, because look, all we did was show you the road and you walked the road, right? You walked the path. You did the work. You said, hey, there's my example. You watched other people in the community making it and you're like, oh, I'll do some more of that. And then you put in the time and you stuck with it. I can't tell you how many people come into the community sometimes. It's really frustrating to us sometimes when people quit because they'll do something and they'll sell something and then it won't be magic and all of a sudden they're making 6 figures in the first year that they did it, or they didn't get to quit their job in the first year that they started, right?
Right.
And they'll get frustrated and they'll give up and they'll go a different path. We had someone in the community who got up to 50 or something members and then they kind of hit that plateau, right? And then I just watched over the next few months as they worked less and less on their business, showed up less and less on member calls, started asked less and less questions. And attrition kicked in, their membership died, and they gave up, and they've now quit their online business, right?
Yeah.
And they had it; they were right there. But you don't win when you get to 50 or 100 members. You win when you keep going and you make the decision. I own a business, and I will do it every day, and it's going to give my family a better future, bro. And you did that. And I was looking up some stats the other day. We were talking in my mastermind. I want to share this with you. So, in 2018, only 12% of households earned more than $150,000 a year, right? So you've got a 6-figure business, plus a teaching job, plus a growing company. That's rare air, man. And only 2% of people even get to 200 grand. So you're so close, right? To something that 98% of humans won't do. and they won't put the effort in. And you deserve all the credit in the world. Like if you're not driving right now, you should be giving Ben a standing ovation while you're listening to this podcast. And it's inspiring, dude. Like your story inspires the heck out of me. I'm sitting here jealous of you because you got so many SOPs. Our SOPs are terrible, man.
Well, ours are a little outdated.
And our turnover was terrible this year, man.
They're always they're getting changed constantly. But yeah,
it's cool though, because now, like, even in our community, like when we see these success stories, like, we do love to learn from our members too. Like, we don't have a monopoly on this. We're just here to inspire and motivate, get you started, get you to a certain point, and then it becomes a community effort. It becomes all of us helping and learning each other to give better lives to all of our families. So I love learning from you guys as much as I do anybody else.
So one thing that I want to know about, Ben, is what kind of opportunities have you guys been able to do, like, as a family, that maybe you wouldn't have been able to do just as a teacher?
Well, like paying for your kids' college, retirement, all these things that are like you can't do when you're just like barely making it. But now for Thanksgiving this year, we celebrated the 6-figure year by buying some e-bikes. And so we live downtown. There's tons of river walks. There's tons of like places to ride bikes. And so we have these, e-bikes now. I have one and my wife has one that it can like carry 2 kids on the back. And so we can basically go on a bike ride as a family now. There's no way we would have been able to afford those. Otherwise, we bought a minivan. That would also have not been in the cards probably if we had just stuck with the teaching jobs.
Bro, when the first year we quit our jobs, and then I remember distinctly our first like big time 6-figure year, and we were like, we can go buy a minivan. We can go buy a brand new town and country minivan. And we did. We drove and we bought it. And I remember, and we were like, we just paid cash for a minivan. And we were awesome, man. We were the happiest people on earth because we got that minivan. We were like, we don't have to open doors to put our kids in anymore. We can press a button.
Awesome. We're also, we're in a really small house right now with 3 kids. So we're looking to get a house, and the fact that we have this business, stable income, it's going to make it a lot easier to get the house that we want with enough room for the family, where we want to live. So all those, man, just having the financial freedom and a little bit of margin to not always be so stressed about money is just priceless.
Dude, I'm sitting here kind of crying a little bit because it really does, Mike, when I hear Joss and I, it's weird because we do interact with so many people, but sometimes it's still kind of like weird to hear that. And just to know that, like, our goal in life is to help people provide a better future for their family. Like that's it. That's our mission. That's what we do with Flipped Lifestyle. And when I hear you say that stuff like out loud, that your kids are going to have a better future. Like you and your wife are going to have a better future. And it's just all because you took action, man. And I'm just really grateful that you showed us enough trust and put your trust in us and allowed us to be a small part of your story, man, because
well, thank you guys. And because of that, you guys are the seed for the 25,000 people on my email list too, that get like good value every day out of the ideas that I shoot out to them to be a better teacher. It's cool. Like the ripple effect that you guys have started in so many other businesses, not just even in like the personal life, like you're talking about, which that's huge too. But
whenever we speak live, I've shared this on the podcast before, but I read this quote a couple years ago when we were preparing for our first big live event, Flip Your Life Live 2018. And I was like, man, I really want to open up with something that like really inspires people, not only to change their family's future, but to impact the world. And I found this quote from Mother Teresa, and a reporter asked her, do you really think you can change the world? You're just a little woman over here and you're a nun, you're whatever, like just degrading question. Right.
Right.
And she actually said, no, I do not think that I can change the world alone, but I can pick up my stone and cast it upon the waters and cause many ripples. And man, that hit me in my soul. I actually had a rock. I had a rock engraved. I'm holding it in my hand right now. It sits on my desk. And it says flip your on one side and life on the other. And it's a stone. It's a smooth stone like you would skip on a lake. And awesome. Every time I walk in my office, I look at that and I'm like, man, I got to pick that rock up. I got to throw it today because it's going to hit Ben. And then Ben's going to pick his rock up and he's going to hit 25,000 PE teachers. And those 25,000 PE teachers are going to go hit, God knows how many students. And like, that's why we do what we did.
Yeah, the other day we were just trying to like estimate how many people that, we have reached directly and indirectly with our
like traffic
products,
and
with our
and blogs.
And I mean, we can't even calculate it. And that's not to like pat ourselves on the back. It's just unbelievable,
It's what's possible really is unbelievable. Like, think about this. Like think how many students have been taught your thing, right? And like, think about all, we've got thousands of people have been through the community, and they have thousands of members. And like every day somebody is being impacted because someone said, I'm going to try. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to try to get my message out, and it works. And then they go out and they make it happen. Right.
It's nuts. Like the way that the internet works is crazy. Like watching your views on YouTube and seeing how like 50,000 people have watched this video.
It's insane.
Dude, yeah, like you've literally spoken to that many people, like face to face on the computer screen. It's so nuts. It's weird. The first time I was at a PE conference when my site was like a little bit bigger, probably like 2017, and somebody like came up to me and like wanted a selfie.
Yes.
I was like, "Are you serious?"
So
I was like,
bizarre,
"Yeah,
man.
of course."
Yeah,
we've
had people do that.
Yeah,
and it's so weird. We went to a conference once up in Portland, Maine, and this lady, she was so nice, very friendly lady, but she came up to me and she was like, "Hey, I want to get a picture with you." And I'm like, "Okay, sure," And
that was the first time anyone ever asked you to do that.
Yeah, and then she like followed. I had to go to the bathroom, and she like came in the bathroom. She's like, "I promise I'm not following you." I'm like, okay.
And she wasn't. She actually is a community member.
No, and she was fine.
Awesome.
Very sweet lady. But a lot of people want to know what's your magic? Okay, so in other words, what's a key action step that you took to achieve this success? Like if you had to pinpoint it to one thing, I know it's kind of hard to do, but what's something that you did that, when other people are looking at you, they think, wow, I need to do this to become as successful as Ben has been?
Well, I think it starts with choosing something that you love to do. Like for me, when I was deciding I wanted to go in on this, it was so exciting because I was like, even if I fail, like if I do this for 2 years, and the way it worked for me was like I told you guys earlier, I did a wedding job. I had $1,500. I was like, look, I'm going to use this money. I'm going to try to make it work for 2 years. I'm going to put 15 hours a week in. And then over the summers, I put a little bit more in because I wasn't working at school. And the conversation me and my wife had was like, even if this fails after 2 years of this work, I'm going to know so many more things that I don't know now that are going to be able to be used for a lot of different things. And I'm going to have this giant library of resources that I can use as a teacher. It's going to make my job easier. It's like a win-win. And so when you're picking what you're going to do, like the cool thing about online business is you can do whatever you want. Like you get to design your own business. So make it look like you want it to look, and like pick something that you're excited about and you're passionate about, is definitely important. And then one thing that you guys have said so many times, and I've remembered and repeated to myself so many times, was that it's a marathon, not a sprint. Because when you're those first 2 years, man, you're just grinding so hard. Like your brain feels like it can't learn anything else. You know what I mean? Right. Like I remember like finally when I finally hired somebody to manage the WordPress stuff for me, I was like, I just have to pay this money because I can't learn how to change another color on a text in WordPress, or like just lives like
no more code.
Yeah,
take the code away.
There comes a point where I think your brain just gets full and cannot handle anymore.
No, yeah, like it, but you have to do all those things this first couple of years. Like you just have to grind through it. So just remembering it's a marathon, not a sprint. And then another thing I remember, I don't remember if you said this to me, Shane, or if I heard you say it to somebody else, but one thing I remembered, especially in the last couple of years when I've been making more money, is like sometimes I'll start to like feel complaining in my brain and like start to like be like, oh, got to go to work again. Another Monday night after a full day of teaching, going to shoot some more podcasts or whatever, And I heard you say, oh yeah, man, like those bags of gold are so heavy to carry around.
That's something we do at my mastermind. And anytime anybody's like griping or complaining a little bit
about first world
problems, I'm like, oh man, it's been such a long day of moving my fingers on that keyboard. Yeah. Oh, I'm so stressed from these bags of gold. They're so heavy. Let me carry this. And like, I don't say that like it's a lot of money. It's just like, we have this, it's opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Like we're complaining about opportunity. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
So that perspective, like usually I say that to myself, I'm like, yeah, I'm an idiot. Like let's go make some resources. And like gets me out of that funk that I'm in.
I caught the thing that stood out there too is like dedicating that 15 hours. Like, man, anyone I've ever seen make it, like that you've made it, or like other people in our community have made it. Maybe they've had the opportunity. Like you could quit your job if you wanted to, but you just choose not to, right?
Yeah.
And like, or you've made more money. Like they always just have this story where it's like, I just said I'm getting up from 4 to 7 every day for 5 days a week. I'm doing it. I'm doing it until it works. And you were like, I'm taking 15 hours. I'm going to find my 15 hours. Yes, I might have to stop scrolling on Facebook or put down Disney Plus, but I'm going to find my 15 hours. And that made it happen. It's awesome.
Yeah, man.
What was that
sacrifice?
What was your biggest challenge, you think, like making it click? Like you sold your first product. I think there's a lot of people out there that have either not started, they're trying to get to the next level, but a lot of people have started. Maybe they sold something, but they couldn't quite get over the hump. Like what do you think was your biggest challenge to keep going and keep running the marathon?
I think the biggest thing for me was just like the technology stuff. Like I hated when I would like I'm teaching all day and then like I'll get an email at the end of the day that's like your site's down or there was a fatal error, like the WordPress code didn't work or all those little like things about running a website or your payment processor didn't go through or like this payment was denied. Like those things, I hated those so much.
Yeah, it just takes a long time to chase all that down. You can figure it out, but it's like you have to get online, you have to search, you have to try something. It didn't work. So now you got to back up and try something else,
I heard a quote the other day because let me tell everybody out there. I know there's a lot of people out there pitching the dream. And yeah, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Life is pretty awesome when you make money online, right? Like there's a lot of good things about it, but nothing is perfect. You're always going to hate something that you're doing, right? Like that's just not the way life works. But I can't remember if I was watching an interview and it was like the guy from Dirty Jobs. What's his name? Mike Rowe?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs and was talking to Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank, right? Kevin O'Leary. And they were talking about, people hating their jobs or whatever. And Kevin O'Leary said, I've hated a lot of jobs, but man, I love making money. And he's like, whenever I hate something, I just remember, man, I love making money and it makes the job better. Right. Yeah, and it's not because we love money. It's just, we like to make money. Like it's fun. Right.
Yeah, I said, I have a mastermind group I meet with on Thursday mornings. And like when I raised the prices and like made all that money the month before, it was a lot of work because we had this huge onboarding process of like 150 members. So I was spending a ton more time doing customer support. And I was like talking to my guys about it. I was like, what makes it a little bit easier to like grind it out for those 15 hours when you like get that money in your bank account?
Yes. Yes. That is a fantastic feeling.
Yeah.
Okay, Ben, let's jump in and talk a little bit about what is next for your business. Like, what are you planning to do? What plans do you have for the future?
Well, I have, honestly, I really just want to keep things going on the upward. I want to keep impacting more people. One of the big goals that I have for last year was getting some help, like building a team. I told you guys I hired my buddy, who's also a PE teacher, to do the email stuff for me. He also knows how to schedule my social media stuff. We have we use Recur Post to just have a constant, stream of social media going. And I hired a VA from the Philippines. And that was going really well. And then it was like hard for a month for training. And then it was really awesome for 6 months. And then it was like, he kind of just dropped off the map and started dropping the ball and it didn't work out.
What happened when you hire overseas people?
And it was just like so frustrating. So now I'm kind of back to square one. I hired another friend who is like a freelance, he's like a freelance video guy, photographer guy to help me with running support and doing graphics and stuff. So I'm kind of testing that out. But one of my big goals would be to eventually have a team that's, if somebody drops, that I'm not like running support again.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
Have at least 2 people that know what to do.
Yes, we're right there with you. I feel like this is sort of like a very hard time in the business when you're trying to grow up. I call it the teenage years. It's like you're kind of grown up, but you're kind of not. You're still learning a lot of stuff.
That stat, I was looking through stats the other day too, and like there's a window between like $500,000 and $2 million, like for companies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like it's funny because and then there's a window from 100,000 to 500,000 percentage wise, like businesses around the country, and that space between 500,000 and 2 million is the smallest percentile on the graph. Wow. So it's like there's this really hard window that you can't even stay in. You either get in it and get knocked back down, or you fight through and make it like to the other side. Right. Yeah. Like the $2 million mark is actually, there's more percentage people in there. Cause once you get, but that's kind of the place, that you're trying to build that team and remove yourself from the business. Like imagine if you were doing exactly what you did now, you grew the company to 200,000 and you spent 100 on the business and you kept 100 and you didn't do anything. Right. And like, that's like kind of the mission, Yeah. And as for growth in the membership model, one thing that we are focusing on heavily right now is retention and improving lifetime value. Like doing that, like adding maybe another tier somehow. And then also just like, hey, if my members stay 9 months, I need to get them all to stay 10. How much more revenue would that be if you just did that? Like that's a great place that's a low energy place to focus while you're building your team so that you can still increase revenue, still maintain your income, and then create those resources to go hire somebody.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm always pumped when people renew. I'm like, oh, you want to stay around? That's so awesome. It makes me feel so good.
Well, listen, man, I appreciate you, for just hanging out with us for an hour here and just talking about this and sharing your story, dude. Like your story is going to inspire. There's somebody listening right now. Like you just picked up your stone and threw it, man, and it hit the water and it's rippling out right now. And somebody is going to say, I've been putting off joining this community. I've been putting off going after my idea, chasing my dreams, and building a better future for my family because I've been scared to spend $400. I've been scared to spend $99 a month to join the community. But man, dude, like trade $400 now. 4 years from now, you might be making six figures like Ben Landers here.
And
right?
Maybe you're somebody who's been in the community before and you thought it was too hard and you gave up. Come back.
Yeah,
we want you back. There are so many people who will go away for a time. They'll come back for a time.
And then they'll do great things.
Yeah, and we want you back. So don't come back thinking you have to put your tail between your legs and be ashamed or anything.
I didn't make it the first time. Okay. Nobody makes it the first time.
We are thrilled when you come back.
But
so
we really
you're
do,
one
man.
of those people. Come on.
We admire you. We appreciate you. We're so thankful for you. And I can't wait. We're just going into the new year here in 2020. And man, I just want to walk beside you and get you to the next level. And just watch the incredible things that you do, and also learn from you, man. Be inspired by what you're doing, and can't wait to talk about it for the rest of the year, man. So thanks for coming on the show today.
Well, thank you guys. And then I'm sure there's going to be some people that always like look me up and then email me and ask me for business tips. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm just going to send you the link to sign up for Flipped Lifestyle. Because I'm like people are always like, dude, how'd you do this? I'm like, I run a site for PE teachers. So like, if you're a PE teacher, hit me up. But if you're interested in online business, go to fliplifestyle.com.
Yeah, there you go, man. I love it. I did not pay you to say that. I kind of did though, because we helped you build your business. So you kind of got paid for it, right? But hey, tell everybody real quick, let's give me a shout out for your social media and your domain name if people want to check out what you're doing.
Oh yeah. I'm at the PE Specialist everywhere, thepespecialist.com. So hit me up if you're a PE teacher.
Only.
No, I'm just kidding. You can hit me up anytime.
Wow, what an amazing conversation with Ben Landers, a guy that we have known now for, going on 6 years, and watching every step of his journey from taking that initial step and investing in himself and his family's future to creating a lead magnet. He started with a lead magnet and a website, and he built a small list, and he sold some products, and then he kept working, kept going, and built that momentum all the way to a 6-figure online business. Just an absolutely amazing success story. But the crazy thing is, guys, that success story is possible for you. We have seen it happen hundreds of times in the Flip Your Life community. And that's what we want for your future. That's what we want for your family. That's why Jocelyn and I are here, and the Flip Your Life community is here. If you would like some help getting started, maybe you need to stick that toe in the shallow end of the pool. We've got some free resources for you over at flippedlifestyle.com/free. You can go and watch courses to help you with your idea, figure out what products that you can create to solve people's problems, and learn how to start an online business and make money online. So if you'd like to get started at flippedlifestyle.com/free, head over there today. and check out all the free resources we've got for you. Who knows, maybe in a couple years, you will be right here where Ben was today on the Flip Lifestyle Podcast, sharing your success story with the world. Before we go, we like to close every show with a Bible verse. Jocelyn and I get a lot of our inspiration and motivation from the Bible. Today's Bible verse is from Proverbs chapter 13, verse 22. And in the Bible, it says, "A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children." And hearing Ben tell his story about being able to provide college for his kids, be able to provide an awesome home life for his kids, and just thinking about where his family is going now compared to where they may have been going before he started his online business really gets me emotional, really chokes me up. And we want to share that with you guys. Like, go out and create something amazing. Anyone can do this, but not everyone will. Be one of the ones that will go out and create a better future for their family and leave that inheritance to your children's children. That's all the time we have for this week, guys. Tune in next week as we bring another member of the Flip Your Life community onto the show, celebrate their success, and help them get to the next level while we help you get to the next level as well. Until next time, get out there, take action, do whatever it takes to flip your life. We'll see you then.
Bye. Hold on one second.
Our pizza is here, and the kids are trying to get us to go sign the check.
Okay, word.
Real life. Got to stop the podcast for a pizza delivery. Got some Papa John's at the door, and they're starving.